A group of Teal independents have accused your MPs of misogyny in the parliament. What do you say to those criticisms?
Well, the Teals said they'd change Canberra. I think Canberra has changed them. We've got Zali Steggall making outrageous personal attacks on Peter Dutton, calling him a racist. I think when it comes to standards, it needs to cut both ways. Just because you're a Teal doesn't mean you can say whatever you want without being held accountable. Now, Andrew, just imagine if, you walked into the Sky studio in Canberra and called somebody a racist at the top of your voice and then repeated it over and over again, or the same thing happened to you. That's not professional. That's not accountable. To look at these attacks from the Teals, and there was no Teal calling out Zali Steggall for her accusations of racism towards Peter Dutton, I thought was disgraceful. Peter Dutton is a decent man who cares for this country and its diversity, and I back his character every day of the week.
Will he be suing her? Do you know? Has he had that legal advice?
Oh, look, I'm not going to go there. I'm focused on making every single Teal that sits in the parliament accountable as we lead into the next election. What they are at the moment is an opposition to the opposition.
There was an earthquake in the Hunter Valley on Friday, not far from where you want to put a nuclear power plant. Does that concern you at all?
I'm concerned for the people of the Hunter, and I hope everyone's okay. And I know, especially for children, when schools are evacuated, it's a very anxious time. So that's my first concern. I think I heard some reports that Tim Ayres was out there blatantly politicising this event. That's shameful. He should apologise.
But so a nuclear power plant's fine there. Earthquakes, earthquakes happen. You're not concerned about that.
Andrew, Australia has one of the most geologically stable land masses in the world, and everything that would ever be done around the planning, the engineering, and the building of a nuclear power plant would be done carefully with consideration for all of these aspects. So of course it would be done well, of course it would be done properly, and you only have to look around the world to see that. So for Labor to jump on this and look at people who are in distress and upset because of something that's happened to them and immediately try and make political capital out of it, I mean, that's appalling.
Just finally, a couple of developments on the diplomatic front. The Prime Minister's off to the Pacific Islands Forum this week. He's going to reach an agreement with Tuvalu, including on so-called climate refugees. There's also talk of a Pacific police agreement with Australia. Jim Chalmers is reportedly off to China. Do you concede this government has done better than yours in terms of dealing with what I can only describe as the China issue?
Well, I welcome senior engagement by our federal politicians with China. The trade relationship is vital, and I represent a lot of producers who have those trade relationships with China. But remember, it was China who closed the door on us, and Richard Marles hasn't confirmed whether the Treasurer is going to China or not. But if he is, I would say this to him: silence on the things that matter can never be the price of a ticket to Beijing.
And on the Pacific Policing Agreement, do you have a reaction to that?
We worked incredibly hard with the Pacific and have led engagement over many years of government. So I hope the government continues to build on our strong work in the Pacific.
Deputy Liberal Leader Sussan Ley, thanks so much for your time.